Welcome to the Park Hypers podcast. To be here is an honor because this has taken us hours, but we're here.
Oh, yeah.
My name's Ava, and
My name is Garrett. What did you call the podcast? The
Park Hypers?
Off the Rails?
Oh, Off the Rails. Yes,
Yeah.
This is the Off the Rails. Choo-choo, welcome along because you're in for a ride. Welcome to the podcast. We're going to jump right into it because I feel like you don't want to hear us yip and yap to get to know us. So, Caitlin, our wonderful producer, has a game for us.
Let's do it.
Let's do a little bit of this or that.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you questions and you're going to pick either one or the other.
Sweet.
No justifications.
Ooh.
Don't explain yourself.
Oh, no explaining.
That's hard. Okay.
I'm going to ask you both. You're going to answer 3, 2.
Okay, like rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Rapid
So I'm going to
fire.
ask.
Okay, no
Oh,
elaboration.
okay.
You're going to, and then you're just going to say
Okay.
what you
No
want.
thinking.
Don't think.
We've used too much.
Yeah,
of our
I've been thinking way too much today, so anytime I can not think. Let's go.
Okay. Are you ready?
Ready.
Disneyland or Disney World?
Land.
Land.
I've been to Disney World.
Rides or entertainment?
Rides. They got rid of the Aladdin show.
Yeah.
Entertainment can be anything. Could be the little
the Frozen
shows, the
show.
parades, Okay.
Rides. I would say people watching, but rides. Ooh, love that.
Galaxy's Edge or Avengers Campus?
Galaxy's
Avengers Campus.
Dole Whip or Pixar Pier Parfait?
Pixar Pier
Edge.
Parfait.
Yeah, Pixar Pier Parfait.
Churros or beignets?
Beignets. All day.
Churros.
Halloween or Christmas?
Christmas.
Halloween.
World of Color or fireworks?
World of Color.
Fireworks.
Pin trading or popcorn bucket?
Popcorn
trading.
buckets. This is crazy.
Lightsaber build or droid build?
Lightsaber
Droid build.
Haunted mansion or pirates?
Haunted
Pirates.
Mansion. Oh my gosh, we're like completely up. This is awesome.
Princesses or villains?
Princesses.
Villains.
Parade or Phantasmic?
Parade.
Fantastic.
Club 33 or 1901?
Club 33.
33.
Quick service dining or table service?
Quick service.
Table. I'll go table.
Genie or fairy godmother?
Genie.
Genie? Yeah.
And then for the Pixar Pal Around, would you go swing cars or no swing?
Not on it. On the ground.
Swinging. Big time.
All right, that's it. That's all I got for you.
That revealed a lot.
That was incredible.
That was good.
I didn't know that we would be so opposite, but that's good.
Yeah. And no elaborating is difficult.
No, that's
I specifically chose those questions because I knew that you guys would
really.
She was honest.
She's sneaky.
She prepared. Yeah. Well, because Haunted Mansion and Pirates, I actually don't like either of them really that much. Don't come at me. Like, it's not my go-to, but during Christmas or Halloween, I'll go on Haunted Mansion every single time.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I said Pirates, because I think that was a lie. But you're under pressure.
I wasn't
happened?
in love with Haunted Mansion until I found out about the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay, and then that's when I just fell in love
Sells
with it.
Yeah.
As soon as they did that, now I wasn't even a big Nightmare Before Christmas guy either. In fact, my best friend's mom was really into it, and she was scary. And I'm not sure that I like wanted to go near that movie because I'm like, oh man, if she likes it, then it's chalked. But then we went to Disney that one time, and it was like, wait, this is lovely. And then I needed to find out about Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So what did we do? We went to the Disneyland Hotel, bought the Nightmare Before Christmas movie, and then went back to our hotel. Not the Disneyland Hotel, unfortunately. I wish we would have just gone upstairs, but no, we went and bought the movie and then went back to our cheap Motel 6. No, I'm just kidding.
Down the road.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Our affordable one. And I think I watched the movie, and that's when I fell in love with it. And I think you fell asleep, which is okay because you had seen it before. But I fell in love with it. It was just
It's a good
one of those
movie.
things where I'd never seen it before, and just
Yeah.
like absolutely loved it. And then that's when it all started for me. So I like the Haunted Mansion by itself, but
When
The
it's
Nightmare
Nightmare
Before
Before
Christmas.
Christmas, it's kind of like Small World. I'll go on Small World, but during Christmas, it sets the bar so high. You're like, I know what the ride is capable of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
what was the other one that shocked you?
well, the Mickey's Pal Around or Pixar Pal Around. I will
Okay.
not be going anywhere near this Ferris
I
wheel.
love the
I will be
swinging
holding
one.
the bags. I don't care. I'm on the ground. Like, y'all, I did the swinging ones once because I had an exchange student come. So we're like, we'll go on it. She's like, let's do the swinging one. I've never done it in my life. That is when I discovered my fear of heights because that was deadly. Nope. No.
That makes it so much better. Now it's fun to get into the non-swinging ones so that you can just take a look at the scenery.
It is beautiful.
And I love that. Love being up there and just like looking down at everybody. You all look like little ants from up here. That's the best part, you know.
Another one was what was it? Pin tradings or popcorn buckets, because I feel like it depends. When I was a kid and the pin trading was pretty elite, I would say 100%
yeah.
pin trading.
Yeah.
But now when I go and I try to get invested in it, it's like the same repeat pins.
It
And so I'm
is.
not as invested in it. That's why I go
Yes.
popcorn bucket, because I'm like, okay, they're at least these like authentic type of buckets. There's some type
So
of
true.
community around it. But the pin trading, I'm not going to trade my elite pins for the Amazon
No.
bulk.
Pin trading needs to make a comeback.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Big time. I don't know if it already has a little bit. I thought I
Mhm.
saw some news with the pin trading blog that the pin trading boards are looking a whole lot better than they used to. But
Yeah.
we're talking that trip that I was just talking about where we bought the Nightmare Before Christmas. That trip, it was 2012. 2011 was when we really started getting into pin trading, into the hidden Mickey pins. And every single morning you would go to the pin boards and there was totally refreshed pins, and there was you were looking for the ones, a specific set. If you remember, the OG fans will remember, there was the alphabet set, and there was all the alphabet letters with the hidden Mickeys on it. And we would go try to find every single one of those. And now it's like we've gone so many times between now and 2012, and it's just the same pins. It's so depressing because when I worked there in 2014 or 2013 to 14, I would go and I would like put new pins on my lanyard, and like, because it drove me nuts how it was like all the same pins, and obviously you could tell the fake ones from the real ones.
Yeah.
And it is kind of depressing, but pin trading needs to make a comeback.
It needs
for
to
sure.
make a comeback, because I remember as a kid going, and my parents would be like, okay, you all get a pin. And so, you drop $15 on this pin. And I'd run up to this pin board. I'm like, I want that one. And not knowing it was a fake pin. But my parents are over here like, we just dropped $15 on this pin. You want it? And so now I 100% get it, where it's like, I don't want to give a good pin, but then I'm also like, I don't want to just keep trading this bad one around. So that would be my hope for the park, is to see that come back for sure.
It needs to, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. That was our first indication of that was our trip last year, and we had traded a pin that we'd got in a mystery box because we were hunting for a particular set, you know, and you buy the mystery boxes and then you get repeats. You know, I think it was the racers, the Sugar Rush racers from Wreck-It Ralph. And so we were trying to collect the whole set. So, you know, you get a bunch of taffetas and whatnot, and you're like, okay, I'll just trade one of these ones, even though I know that it's more value.
Yeah.
And my daughter saw an Aurora crown that she wanted, and I was like, it's probably fake, but you know, okay, we'll give that one up, right? So she puts it on the board, she gets the Aurora crown, and then 5 seconds after it was on the board, not even exaggerating, we hadn't even backed away from the pin board, somebody snagged that pin. I mean, it was like they instantly swooped in, none of the other pins. So it's kind of like you knew that that one has some value and people want it. So it's an epidemic. What do you said churro over beignet?
Again, it's because I'm very much a seasonal Disney goer. I mean, I'll go often, but realistically, I'm there during the holidays. And so when they have their flavored churros, I'm all about trying them. The beignets are stellar, but I think the churros, I like the variety of flavor because sometimes I'm craving something different. So I don't know. They've been on their churro game. Yeah.
True. I'm a sucker for the beignet cough is what I call it. It's when you inhale the powdered sugar
Yes.
and then
everywhere. Absolutely.
I love that.
See, I'm a beignet like at night. I think I'm churros during the day, beignets at night. I am more of like a Being by Fantasmic, having beignets, like hot chocolate,
Yeah.
like that's more my vibe when they're warm. But for some reason, churros during the day.
Yeah, I like beignets in the morning. That's my vibe.
Yeah.
You wake up, you go into New Orleans Square, you go to the Mint Julep bar, and you get like your coffee and some beignets, and they're fresh, they're warm.
They're good.
And then like sometimes, if you go during certain times of the year, it can be a little chilly in the morning. And so like a nice, freshly hot beignet with coffee, and you're just looking the rivers of America, and you got the music. It's like one of my top experiences.
I will say, I think when I was there last time, the beignets are no longer Mickey shaped.
So you're right. So they at Cafe Orleans, or at,
Tiana's place.
so I think they are, you just have to get them. I think Cafe Orleans sells the
Okay.
Mickey shaped ones,
Gotcha,
but the
Tiana's is
Mint
the-
Julep bar, the
Okay.
Tiana's has a specialty beignet.
Yes.
And then the Mint Julep bar are just the square ones as
Okay.
well. So you're totally onto it. I think it's Cafe Orleans that has the Mickey shaped ones. So because they also have like the different dipping sauces. But you know what I'll say about the beignets? Also, speaking about making comebacks, they used to have a pumpkin beignet. Now we're not talking pumpkin spice beignet. We're talking pumpkin
I feel
beignet.
like I remember this.
And it was when I worked there. And it was phenomenal. The dough was actually pumpkin.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't, they're shaking in we're shaking in the pumpkin spice. The dough is actually made with the pumpkin puree.
That I think would be good because they've done the
It's so
chocolate
good.
peppermint ones
Yeah.
where it's just the coating, but the beignet is the same. But I want the flavor of the actual dough to be better,
Yes.
and so that it's not just like an.
Nope, you got it. And that's what they've been doing with like the beignets.
Yeah.
Now the last time we were there, they had a peach beignet, and it tasted like a peach ring,
Ooh.
which that's like my favorite candy of all
Yeah.
time is those peach rings.
Those are solid.
So it definitely tasted like a peach ring, which hands down, like that made it for me. But it's a little artificially tasting,
Gotcha.
which like
Hard to
back to
come
what
by.
we were saying, it's not like the dough tastes like that. It's more of just an additive on top of it,
With the
which,
sugar,
but it was still pretty good.
Okay, solid.
And they had a peach mint julep. That was really good too.
I like when they come out with more seasonal things. I think because I'm a pass holder, you go often enough or worked there where it's like I don't want the same old, and it's
Right.
still fun. They offer both like the original beignets, but it's nice to just try something a little bit different because then I feel like it's a special treat to get them.
Yep.
One of the questions was Disneyland or Disney World.
Yeah, I
And so-
have not been to Disney World.
And I don't know why I hesitated because my answer is firm that I prefer Disneyland. I think I'm in a kick right now where I'm going to Disney World. And so I'm very much like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so exciting. But like Disneyland is it.
It's just iconic.
It's just where it's at. And I know when people go to Disney World as their first park, that's
Yes.
they're like, Disney World's bigger and better, but there's something nostalgic about Disneyland. Like,
And we're on the West Coast.
we're on the West Coast. Yeah.
That
so
makes it easier.
so
That was
much more
my first
convenient.
park and only
Yeah.
park.
Yeah.
And when you're on the West Coast, it's sort of like going to Disney World it can be like this just big hurdle almost. Like,
It's
okay, the
daunting.
flight is way more expensive. It's way longer. Where we're at, you probably have to get a connecting flight, and it
You
just
usually
gets
have to be there longer as well.
Yeah.
It's not just like a little weekend getaway.
Exactly.
It's like there's 4 parks, there's water parks, it's a lot.
Yeah.
All at once.
When my wife and I were growing up, I mean, early on, right, we're still like in our 19, 20, 21, like we're still young, but we're working, and JetBlue was flying, and it was like we could get a round trip ticket for like less than $250
Dang.
for a direct flight too, like
That's
in the
crazy.
morning, not like a crazy like red eye or anything. So it was so affordable for us.
Yeah.
And then we have family down in Southern California. So it just made it so easy to go to Disney all the time because it's like home away from home. There's people down there that we go visit and see. And it just made it so easy. So going to Disney World is like a whole different thing. It's like, okay, it's all the way across the country and you probably want to stay longer because the parks are bigger and, you know, you definitely... Anytime that I think about going to Disney World, I want to go for at least like a week or more.
You have to, because realistically, when you're flying, a lot of the flights, at least that we've taken, you don't get there until like the evening. And so then that day's shot. And then the next day, there's the whole time change thing. And so realistically, there's 4 parks compared to Disneyland. Like you could just go for a day and see both of like Disneyland and California Adventure. Disney World, it's like a whole nother obstacle that I like would say 4 days is like the least you would want to go because then it's 1 day per park, but the parks are quite big. And also it's just a lot more walking. I'm always beat by the end of it. Disneyland is like relaxing. Disney World's like, get your walking shoes on because this is a marathon.
That's my dream with Disney World. My like from the moment that I wanted to go, like started researching and, you know, had it on my list to go was Typhoon Lagoon. And I wanted to go specifically because they have like the early morning before it opens surf lessons and then the after it closes surf lessons. And I'm like, I just want to surf in their giant like wave pool. It like produces a perfect wave.
Their wave pool is crazy. Like
you've been in it?
Yes, I did it once and I thought I was going to drown. I was like, it's insane.
Oh, that's cool.
I've gone there and then they have, not that I drowned. There's a Blizzard Beach one too, which I love like snow and Christmas. So that's cool. They have like lazy rivers, but the water parks I feel like I've only been like twice, so it's something to maybe not sleep on. I know Disney World's offering where if you stay on property this year, your first day of check-in you get to go for free.
Oh,
so
that's
like
really
a
cool.
Plus,
wow,
because I feel like if you don't want to have a day at the park, go to the water parks. It's
bonus.
A whole thing. Yeah. So should we get into our little Disney double take?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we have a segment where we thought we did the college program, Disneyland, Disney World. So we're going to try and take on just kind of stuff that's happening and bring you little updates. So if you do have a trip upcoming, hopefully we're able to give you some info that can help make that trip a little bit easier. Or if you guys are just nosy and want to know what's happening on each coast, we got you covered.
Okay. Lots going on.
Lots.
So
what's
much
happening at Disneyland?
Disneyland's gearing up for the 70th.
Yes.
So tons of stuff. Unfortunately, right now, a lot of attractions are down. They're really gearing up. I mean, the railroad just came back online, which is amazing. It's kind of sad this time of year when everything's under refurbishment. And it's just, you know, when you're going this time of year, sure, the crowds are maybe a little bit less, but man, they are working day and night just to try to get this thing, you know, all the rides refurbished in time for the big 70th. So the 70th starts on May 16th this year. And that is going to be the kickoff. And there's just going to be more to come from there. So lots going on with the 70th at Disneyland. But if you're in the parks between now and then, quite a lot of closures. So Indiana Jones is coming up. They are going to be back online April 24th. Small World, they are adding Coco, I believe.
Really?
And, yeah. So a whole new section inside there. And yeah, it's pretty exciting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like they haven't added anything really to it.
Not in a while.
Like holidays.
Correct.
Oh, dang.
Yep. So they, of course, they take down for, like you said, the holiday, and then they're adding that. So, boy, that's coming. They're going to be down a while. Looks like it's April 16th and then to July 16th. So quite a lot of months there. Let's see. We got the Columbia coming back online March 28th. So that's just right around the corner, which is good. Jolly Holiday is probably the biggest one that everybody's upset about, that you can't get your famous, treats in there.
It's coming back.
It's coming back. It's actually today is the 21st. It just came back online today. So
that's so, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So exciting.
That is
one
exciting.
of the most elite places to eat, in my opinion, for like a little quick
It's
thing.
a sleeper. So
it's a sleeper.
Quick story about Jolly Holiday. We had when I worked there was a employee party, and it was in the Hideaway, the Tropical Hideaway.
Okay,
At the time, it was some Aladdin meet and greet, but anyway, kind of this hidden section of the park, and all the employees got in there, and they gave you 2 tickets, and for they had this big giant wall, and you could put your tickets in all these different prizes that you could earn, right?
Yeah.
And it's like Blue Bayou dinner for two, and like
Shoo.
all this fancy stuff. And then there was like Jolly Holiday, like a gift card for Jolly Holiday. And I thought to myself, everybody is going to be putting their tickets in
Smart.
the really expensive stuff. So I'm going to put both my tickets in Jolly Holiday,
Mhm.
which I hadn't actually eaten at in a prior trip or even when I was working there.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of one of those things that you always sort of walk by, right?
Yep.
And this time I was like, you know what? I'm going to put my tickets in there, and put my tickets in. And then like the next day I got notification that I had actually won a gift card for there. I think it was
Ayo.
like $25 or something.
Okay. That's solid.
So
meal.
then the next time Kate and I went on a trip, we got to use those gift cards, and it was wonderful. So
It's so good.
we kind of got like, one of everything,
Yeah.
and got to try everything, and it's a sleeper. So
it's a sleeper. It's one where like if you just want a pastry, they have
Mhm.
really good pastries. Breakfast, like that's a go-to because they have like the little croissants with like the eggs. Oh,
yep.
it's delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, and the grilled cheeses too.
And their
Like
soup.
yes, grilled cheese, tomato
During
soup.
Christmas time, they have this. I don't know what it's called, but it's like turkey, cranberry, mashed potatoes, and then
okay.
it has a side of gravy.
Uh-huh.
The most elite thing ever. Like if it was closed, my life would not be the same during
Yeah.
that time. So I'm glad it was closed and we got the holidays out of it.
And now it's open.
Now it's open.
So a couple other closures. Man, really sad about this one. Tinkerbell. It's just still down. So that the meet and greet location
That's sad.
still
yeah,
down.
That's been down for a long time.
It has been, and there is no date on it opening.
Because I took my nieces in January,
Mhm.
and I was in charge of stroller duty while my brother and sister-in-law were out living their best life. And so I was like, I'm going to go take them to meet the fairies because I never got to as a child, healing your inner child here. And we go, and it was the saddest entrance because it was just like, turn around,
Yep.
dead end. And I was
Yep.
like, Tinkerbell, girl, where are you?
Right.
So, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I remember doing that with my first daughter when
Uh-huh.
she turned 1, and waiting in that line. Gosh, I think we waited like 30 or 40 minutes
It's
for
so
it.
long.
And but it was kind of funny watching her waddle up in there. and,
Right.
like it is kind of a cool. I love the area, how they have it secluded, and it is all
you feel kind of immersed. In
yeah,
it.
it is. The immersion in that section is
Pixie
really
Hall
cool.
is great.
Grand California entrance too is so if you're in the hotel and you're trying to get into the park, they have that closed as well. It's to be dated, so
That's crazy.
kind of down. But no, that is about it for the Disneyland news.
Disneyland
Thank
news.
goodness we're coming into the 70th anniversary.
There's gonna be a
and
lot.
There's gonna be so much going on, and
Mhm. Have you seen their outfits?
I
The
have,
characters?
yes. And I
Quite
just
colorful.
saw the ears today, some of the merch, because
Ooh.
every one of our trips, we like to get the ears,
Yes.
the ear hats. And I did see an image of the ear hats. And so I got my eyes. That's the one. So we have the 60th.
Yes.
And so I'm going to get the 70th. So, hopefully get the 80th too
Mhm.
someday. So
that would be a cool segment to look back, and maybe you guys have some. The 60th anniversary, maybe because I remember it the most, was one of the most beautiful anniversaries for some reason. Everything was beautiful. I loved that it was like the diamonds, everything was sunny. They had Paint the Night, and I know Paint the Night's coming back, which is
Mhm.
incredible. But it would be cool to compare and contrast the different themes because
yeah.
there were these ears for the 60th, and they were covered in crystals, but they're like
Yes.
$600.
Yes, I remember that.
Gosh, I wanted them so bad. And now it's a good thing they don't have that, because with a big girl job, there'd be no stopping me.
Oh yeah. Adult money.
Adult money.
No kids.
No kids. That's my life, guys. Okay, wonderful. Disney World is in the same spot as Disneyland closures, but that's pretty normal because it's kind of like downtime. Like it's not super busy, and they want it to be all ready for the summer. Big Thunder Mountain though is closed until 2026.
That's the saddest news of all time.
That is sad.
That's horrible.
Like a
'Cause
lot of these are coming back, but
I know exactly how that feels, because when I worked there, it was down the entire time. So it was down. It was the whole refurbishment. So the
Mhm.
whole time that I worked there, one of my
Dang.
favorite rides, it was down, and it was so depressing because we just wanted to ride it. It
Right?
was just like, and that's a long time for it to
till
be down.
2026 is a bit crazy. I
Yep.
mean, it doesn't even specify when in 2026. The goal would be maybe early in the year, but I also know they're working in the new Cars ride. But Hall of Presidents is closed, Astro Orbiter, and then Tom Sawyer Island and Liberty Square Riverboat. Those aren't closed, but it is rumored that they will be closing with the new construction. Test Track and Epcot is closed, but they have released that they're doing trial runs on it, so hopefully that'll come soon. And Spaceship Earth is rumored to be closed. You need to go to Disney World because Spaceship Earth, it's the one in the golf ball. It is just so nostalgic and it's iconic. And then the wonderful, iconic Grand Fiesta Tour starring the three Caballeros should open around mid-March. Are there any other closures? Cali River Rapids was closed, but it's opened back up, which I feel like is a sign of spring. You know, like the groundhog, how he does that. I feel like when Cali River Rapids opens, you know it's coming. Because it's been under refurbishment since January. And then the Flower and Garden Festival, which is the main thing happening, which I'm so excited to go. It's kind of like the Food and Wine, but they have all of the beautiful flowers and plants. And then the only other thing I really have is just regarding like annual pass prices, in case anybody is like a local to Florida. They lowered the down payment in case you guys were interested in them, but the monthly cost is a bit more. And so that's just something to take a look at if you are on that plan, because I think it's going into effect for most people. Yeah, that's pretty much everything in the Disney World news. Oh, wait, actually, this is important. You heard about how they're going to be tearing down like Muppet, that whole area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lot to
talk about with that.
Sad Disney.
A lot of sad stuff happening.
Goers.
But in case you guys didn't know, your last time to eat at Mama Melrose, which is the best Italian food ever. I worked at Hollywood Studios and I loved that place, is closing May 10th. So honestly, this is what has made me shift my trip to go to Disney World, because I have to eat and get the spaghetti before I go. And then Muppet Vision and Pizza Rizzo are closing June 7th. It's actually devastating.
Yeah, there's a lot of sad closures.
Disney World. Because a lot of these are like, oh, they're closed for refurbishment. These are like, we're saying goodbye to them. And a lot of them are food spots that just really slap.
Yeah.
And I'm worried, like, what are you going to replace it with?
It's hard to relate because I've never been to Disney World. But then I start to think about, like, what if they started taking out really iconic stuff at Disneyland too? Right. And then I start to think, oh yeah, I could see how that would hurt, you know, and I get, like, the parks need to change, you know, we need to
evolve.
You know, exactly. We need to evolve and make them better. As long as what they're putting in is better and enhances the experience, I'm okay with it. It's sort of like a two-sided coin for me, because I think that they could take out a lot of iconic stuff and I probably wouldn't be too mad about it. Yeah. But I know a lot of people would, and you know, there's a crowd that wants Disney to stay the same forever.
For sure. And
there's a crowd that wants new and better stuff, and, you know, happy medium of that. So I'm not sure. I've not experienced any of those things in Disney World, but I can just imagine if they started taking stuff out in Disneyland.
And it's always like the niche things where, like, Muppet Vision is not my, like, guys, I'm going on this. This is the best thing in the entire world. But it kind of is just, you just go and it's fun and it's lighthearted. It's a little ride. It's kind of like when they took away the Aladdin show at Disneyland. It was like not a lot of people into it. Or for me, it's like the Animation Academy at Disneyland. If they just said, we're done with the Animation Academy, what's his name? Crush is leaving. Everything's out. Some people would not even be fazed by it. But like that's just become like a routine in people's trips that I'm hopeful. And I think it's hard because we don't know exactly what's happening. We don't know when that's gonna come in and if it'll be bigger and better, but we can hope. So that's kind of everything happening at Disney World right now.
The one thing that I can relate to, I guess, is a Bugs Land in DCA. Like when they took out a Bugs Land, and the same at Disney World. I was just gonna say, I just bulleted it. Yeah, it's not on my notes. They just yesterday was the last thing. And I saw the Instagram post of it's like of Flick narrating like the last time, and it was like kind of depressing. Like, I'm not gonna lie,
what it's like.
It was so depressing.
It's Bugs Land. Like it closed when I was probably 22. No, I don't know. But like, I didn't always go to Bugs Land, but something about it closing is depressing. Even though I go to Avengers Campus and I love the Spider-Man ride and I love Guardians. at what cost
Yeah.
to happen.
Yeah.
And it was also such a great, I think the difference is like Bugs Land was perfect for like kids
Mm-hmm.
and it was beautiful.
Mhm.
Yes, it was not for like adults in
Yeah.
that demographic, but I think there could have been maybe a way to keep it. But yeah, they're replacing It's Tough to Be a Bug with a Zootopia show.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there's not a lot of information on it, but they did file like the different permits to start working on a
Mhm.
Zootopia show. So I'm happy they're at least keeping a show
True.
because I love the entertainment aspect. But Tough to Be a Bug at Animal Kingdom makes sense.
I was just gonna say too, and it's Tough to Be a Bug is in the Tree of Life, right?
In the Tree of Life.
So I feel like it double makes sense because you're
Literally.
inside of the tree.
We are at
And
bug
then
size.
you're kind of bug size, right? And that's the whole point of the show
Yes.
is that you're shrunk down into bug size. And
Mhm.
yeah, it is iconic. So
Yeah.
the Disney, I only experienced it in Disneyland and DCA. And I'm just sad that I won't get to traumatize my kids with that show because it is such a great show, but like it is a little intense.
Absolutely. My oldest brothers are scared to this day and
Yes.
would not step foot in it, probably. And they're now going on to 30, everyone.
Yeah.
So not to dog them, but.
Oh man, so good. Like the stingers in the back.
Yes.
And like I love like if you go to that show and you've been to it before and you would like sit a little bit
you just,
forward
like, reach a little
and
more.
and like you know what's coming.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and
And
it's
the
like,
spiders.
yes.
Yeah, no, it's intense, honestly. So I understand, but I also don't because I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, it helps build thick skin
Exactly.
to take them.
It's character, guys.
It's character development, okay? And also I loved I loved that show
Yeah.
and it makes me sad.
That's actually one of the only movies, the only Disney Pixar movies, at least that old, that I remember going to the movie theater and watching. So
Really?
I loved A Bug's Life. Yes. Like
I'm trying to
I remember like, you know, it was a big deal. Like my whole family, cousins, we all went and it was fantastic. And I grew up in a town without a movie theater. So it was
Mhm.
kind of a big deal. You know, we go to the next town over and everybody joins us and we go see this movie. And it was fantastic. Like,
Dang.
honestly, like such an iconic movie. So it is such a bummer. I did not even know that they were going to close it in Disney
Yeah.
World. Disneyland, I mean, we ripped that Band-Aid off a while ago.
We've grown
And
from
then
that.
and then I saw the Disney World one and it
Actually,
was
the
like
wounds were back.
the wound was back.
The
Exactly.
wound's back. Yeah, I'm trying to think what my first Disney movie I saw. Because I know specifically going and seeing Wall-E. Like, I know for sure.
I
But
remember that one too.
But that makes me seem so young if that's the first. Because I've
Mhm.
had to have seen
I'm a
maybe
bit of a
Toy
boomer.
Story
Mm-hmm.
to a degree.
3.
But Wall-E is but Wall-E, I would have to say Wall-E's like, I remember going to it. I think Wall-E came out during like the recession
Yeah.
where it was like kind of like what you're saying, a treat
Yeah,
to
it was a
go.
treat.
It was like, are you sure you want to go see Wall-E? And it was my mom and I, and she paid for us to go see Wall-E. And I left that theater. I mean, I don't know when Wall-E came out. I'll have to fact check it. But I was younger, probably like 9 or 10. And when it came out, we left and I was like, that was the worst movie of my life. But
really?
now watching it as an adult, incredible movie.
That's
Like, it's incredible.
What a take as a younger person.
I
What-
think because it was, if you watch Wall-E, and it's my niece's favorite movie. She's like 2 and she'll call Wall-E Lily.
Uh-huh.
It's like Lily and Eve. But it's the fact that like there's not a lot of talking,
Mhm.
but it's a lot of like,
Yep, it's true.
you know? And it was all about this plant. And I, at the
Uh-huh.
age, I'm like, why do we care about this plant? It
Mhm.
was just
Who cares
really-
about the world?
I was just like, I don't care about this. I want Toy Story. I want princesses. So I take it back, Wally. I do appreciate you now, but I think that would probably be my first one. I'd have to go through the archives to see. Because Wally was before Brave.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, you touched on the Muppets earlier. That's like the only franchise that I despise with a passion.
I am
I'm
not
just kidding.
familiar enough with the Muppets.
Don't hate me, but as a child, my brother would watch Muppets Christmas Carol.
I watched that for the first time this holiday season.
Okay. The Marley and Barley, the 2 old guys.
Oh, yes.
I will not say their name. Okay. I don't speak their names in my house. scared the daylights out of me, and I had trouble sleeping, nightmares.
Really?
Yes.
You would not like Muppet Vision
No.
then, because they're they're there.
So in DCA they had Muppet Vision.
Okay.
And oh yeah, my family, let's go to Muppet Vision. I'm like, okay, right? Okay, Kermit doesn't scare me, guys. All right, before you come at me.
My
right?
name is Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, Kermit doesn't scare me, or Rizzo, right? I love Rizzo. But man, the two old guys, and no, I will not say their names, just scare the crap out of me. So yeah, so we're in DCA as a family trip. Oh, let's go to Muppet Vision. I'm like
Your
thinking,
favorite thing.
oh no, I really don't. But okay, fine. My dad loves the Muppets, so
Wow,
we
the crossover.
go into Muppet. I know we go into Muppet Vision, and
Where was Muppet Vision at?
in the Hollywoods, like the back
where
lot.
okay, gotcha.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then I could watch the show, and if I just did this, I couldn't see them because they were up in the mezzanine or whatever.
Yep.
And so I could just watch the
This is
show. I'm
crazy.
like, oh, I really don't like those, and I still don't like them to this day. However, I saw a clip of Muppet Christmas Carol, and it did make me laugh. So
I'm gonna be
I feel
honest,
like as
it
an
was
adult,
pretty good.
yeah, I've kind of like, okay, fine, all right, I can appreciate it now. I still don't like them; they still
Yeah.
creep me out, but
I
I've
sat through that
gotten
whole
better.
movie, and it was good. I remember, and I hope people listening remember this because I don't really. Disney Channel somehow, obviously Disney and Muppets, same, like we're working the same place. But like something Disney Channel was like, we're gonna really send these Muppets home, and they're gonna like be our star, because in Wizards of Waverly there would be like a TV show where the Muppets hosted it, and they would have like the Disney Channel stars come, and my brothers and I would always watch it. And Pepe Le Pew, I think is his name, Pepe Le Pew. What's his name? Pepe. Pepe, yeah, the little shrimp guy.
Yeah.
Loved him. But that was the only really Muppet thing I watched,
Mhm.
and I also wasn't like an Elmo kid. I didn't do like puppets.
Yeah. I see. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I don't really like puppets.
I respond to animation. Puppets, I'm always like, I know that
Yes.
there's somebody behind you.
Yes.
How that is the same with animation, that I
get
know
it.
you are not real. Yes, but can't do that.
It's the eyes for me that I don't know what it is about puppet eyes, but they freak me out. Less so on like nice looking characters, but but the weird looking or the ones where they're trying to make them look villainy. Oh my gosh, just forget about it. Now have you seen any of the other Muppet movies like Muppet Treasure Island?
No, I think I've seen some of. I know there was a Muppet movie in the theater that came
like
out.
a newer one.
It'd be
I think
all
they
newer
had-
Muppet things.
Yeah, I think that had Jason Segel in it.
Yeah,
right?
I think like there was a star actor. Yeah,
Which doesn't surprise me because one of my favorite movies is Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And I even have a hard time with the ending of that one because it's all about the Dracula musical, and he's got the puppets, and it's funny, right? I love it, right? Don't come after me, okay? All you puppet lovers.
we found his fear.
Yeah, but man, the puppets, like, oof, I have a hard time. So I never loved it. I never got, that wasn't a side of me.
Yeah.
In fact, back to Muppets Christmas Carol, I would take now this is how old I am, kids. Take the VHS, right? I know I'm a boomer.
I loved a good VHS.
I would take that VHS and I would hide it behind all of the other VHSs so that you couldn't see the label. It was behind them.
Elite.
Because I was just like, I don't want my brother to find this. And thank goodness he didn't, because like it was
That would be on repeat.
It was kind of behind the couch too, so I had to like lean over the couch and really shove
There's
it
a
behind
method to the
him.
madness.
Yeah, I did not want to watch that because he and I kind of watched all our movies together. So a couple years older than me, and back in the day, right? We don't have TV, we don't have iPads, right? And so we just watch VHSs on replay over and over and over again.
I think people like Muppets. We're not the Muppeteers. We're not obsessed with Muppets. Somebody I did the college program with, though, loved Kermit the Frog. Like, that was his thing. What is your thing? Like, what is your, like, people love the Muppets? Are you Star Wars, Marvel? Like, are you the Fab Four? Like, what is your niche?
I would say Star Wars.
Okay.
Probably the biggest of them all, just because back to the VHS tape, that's the only form of entertainment that we had. We had the the box set that was all 3 of the original movies. So
Dang.
it was like that. Those were, so we had all the Disney movies, right? Like Aristocats and, you know, every single one of the old Disney movies, Toy Story, right? That's Toy Story is my favorite. But, you know, then all of a sudden we had like, okay, these, you know, adult, mature VHSs, and Star Wars was the first franchise that I just locked onto.
Yeah.
So that for me was when Disney acquired Star Wars, was so excited because it was just the
best of both
the
worlds
culmination of like my 2 favorite things.
Yeah.
So
Dang.
so for sure Star Wars. But I've gotten into Marvel.
Okay.
So when I worked at Disney, I wasn't super big into Marvel even at that time. And one of my best friends in the college program, he was obsessed with Marvel. And he's like, I need to show you. I need to
show you
I need
the
to
way.
teach you. And it was like, we went into his room, and he had like the box set, you know, it was like the mega ultra collector's edition with
That's the dream.
with all of the movies, like, and like, yeah, he had all that stuff. I love it. It's so cool. And so I was like, whoa, what did we got here? You know, he's putting a combination.
These are his babies.
Exactly. It's like, okay, we've got fingerprint, we've got an eye scanner, and then this, you know, suitcase opens up and fog rolls out, right? And it's like all
lasers.
Exactly. All of the DVDs
Yes.
rise to the surface. So
Spotlight.
I think we started just watching them, and I don't know what
order did you watch them in? Do you remember?
That I don't even remember, because I think I remember watching the original Iron Man. Of course, it was like Iron Man was so popular. That one really, like, okay, everyone watched the Iron Man movie,
I
but
have such a funny story to say after that.
then we started watching like all the other ones, and I
Yes.
think he did kind of start me off in order. So we sort of went through in the regular phase
kind
1
of
order.
like Star Wars, where it's like the order is like the way they came out or the way they chronologically make sense. I feel like people will say there's a right and wrong answer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But anyway, that's how I got into Marvel. But still, that love for Star Wars is just there.
elite.
Yeah, it's what's the most nostalgic for me.
I definitely think I'm a Marvel girl, but I'm like a newbie. I'm still earning my, my stripes here, because during COVID, like many people, I had nothing to do. And this is thanks to Disney Plus. And we're not sponsored, but Disney Plus, if you would love to, because love you, use you all the time. All of the Marvel movies came out, and I was like, okay, this is great. So my friend and I, he loves Marvel. We started watching them, and I was hooked. In the beginning, I was like, I don't really want to do this. There are too many movies. Even to the point, like, I saw Endgame when it came out. I had no context. People were crying. People were clapping. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, this is just a movie.
Oh, really?
That's so like I
interesting.
have seen probably like an Iron Man movie here. I've
Sure.
seen like a Thor movie. I had no idea. And then I saw Infinity Wars and Endgame. Like, probably one of my top, like, watching them for the first time, like, they were probably my 5th Marvel movie ever. And so then when I finally watched the Marvel series, the cinematic universe, I was obsessed, and it was my favorite thing in the world. And when we all got to Endgame, I remember us watching it. And it was when the quarantine restrictions lifted. So we were all together watching it. And we're like, oh, this is going to be elite. I remember the scene with Iron Man, and it was just silence in the room for like a minute. And then you just hear my friend Shan just was like, guys, I need to breathe. And then we all just started sobbing. It is so sad. But about Iron Man, I remember we were getting to that point where Iron Man was coming up. I was determined not to watch Iron Man. I had no interest in that movie. I was like, can we please skip Iron Man? I don't want to watch it. I have no interest. He's just a man in a suit. I was wrong, and I'll admit it, because now I love Iron Man, and he's my favorite in the world. But yeah, I feel like if you've not watched Marvel, you're missing out a whole thing. I need to get into Star Wars. I've seen them all, but I'm like a don't quiz me type of thing, because I know it's intense, and I acknowledge it that I don't fully know. And even with Marvel, I'm like, I know there's things I'm missing. But I just find it interesting to see like what people's like what they gravitate towards.
So Iron Man's your favorite?
Iron Man is my favorite. I do love Loki, but I love him. I've always loved him before I even watched Marvel. Like, I don't know. I just liked his character. I love Tom Hiddleston.
You're attracted to a bad boy.
Attracted to a bad boy. That's, I think, my character arc here. So I love him. And then Iron Man's my favorite hero.
Okay.
And then Wanda, I love her as well.
Yeah.
So who is your favorite out of Marvel and Star Wars?
Spider-Man,
Okay.
obviously. Got to
Yeah.
rep the Spider-Man shirt here.
Oh God, I
so-
am attracted to the bad boys because Anakin, that's
Yep.
my favorite one. And I love
It's-
the meme too, where have you seen the burning marshmallow meme?
Mm-hmm.
Where
Oh, yeah.
it's like-
Oh, yes.
Yes. Oh no. Yeah. Dang. I have a
I'm
problem.
seeing a theme here.
I have a problem. Okay.
Spider-Man's always been my favorite. So,
Okay.
very young. I'm like probably 3 or 4 years old, and I'm Spider-Man for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And we go down the street here, and there's a house of kids, and they're ripping the door open and like screaming at kids. You know, they're a bunch of hooligans, right?
Hooligans.
And so they're out trying to scare everybody who's coming to their door and knocking on their door for candy, right? Trick or treating.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see this, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go up to that house, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like with my mom, right? I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to that house. It just seems like maybe I should skip it. And then I stopped, and I just turned around and I walked towards that house.
Oh yeah.
And I remember knocking on the door,
Oh,
and then they
Spider-Man.
ripped it open, right? And we're doing the right, trying to scare me. And I just gave them one of these, you behave. And the whole crowd of people in there just died laughing. And that was like, that was my
We are the same person.
that was my superhero moment. So
As you should.
I just love Spider-Man. So
I love that. Something about the superheroes. For Halloween, I was Wanda. I don't know how the actors do it because I would be method acting. I would literally think I was Spider-Man and slinging from place to place everywhere I go. And with Wanda, I'm like, don't mess with me. I'll literally like take your mind. It's quite intense, quite powerful. Yeah.
you got kind of a Wanda jacket on
The
right
Wanda
now.
vibe, yeah. And the shoe cam, everyone, you can't see it. We got a boot. Red's also giving villain, so I think we've discovered my interest now.
We need a Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield. Need it.
We were talking about
I need
that,
it.
about like Spider-Man specifically, your options, and you're
Yep.
Andrew Garfield. I
Now,
obviously
I
was
grew
grown
up-
up with
right.
Tom Holland.
Yep. And mine was Tobey Maguire,
Mhm.
right? Classic, right? We would go to the drive-in, and it was like every summer that was the blockbuster hit with like some other movie. And you always stayed awake for the Spider-Man movie. And then who cares what the next movie
Yeah.
was, right? Because it was like you're going to fall asleep to it anyway. But Spider-Man, right? Iconic, Tobey Maguire.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans when they came out. It was years later. And it was sort of like one of these things where you're just scrolling whatever service, and it's like, wow, let me just see. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I haven't seen that Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I want to take a look. And then you watch the first one, and then you're like, I didn't see that coming. Like, I love his Spider-Man. I think
Mhm.
he's fantastic. And I love the way that he sort of is more spider-like
Yeah.
in his Spider-Man movies.
Mhm.
It's so interesting. They all have a personality of their own.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just love the way that they have him portray Spider-Man. It is so different. And then, you watch the second one, and then I'm like, all right, where's the third one? And it's nowhere to be found. So please, whoever's in charge of that, make it
Get
happen.
on it.
Please, Sony.
Was it No Way Home when all three of them showed up, right?
Yes.
Did you know going into the theater that was going to happen?
I think I did, because it was just at that point.
If you didn't see it the second it came out, you're
yeah,
in
so
for
many
spoilers.
people. It's like it's one of the biggest spoilers of
Yeah.
all time. I mean, it's like,
I mean,
they're
Tom
all-
Holland himself is
Yeah.
the biggest spoiler
Yeah,
of all time.
exactly.
so-
He is. So right. So
Yeah.
I think I did know going in.
Okay.
Because I might have watched that one late.
Yeah.
As in, by the time you're on Instagram the next day, it's complete. Your feed is
Yeah.
completely filled with spoilers.
Mhm.
That's how Game of Thrones was ruined for me.
That's how the Star Wars movie,
It's just-
what was it, where Han Solo died?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what spoiled
Force
for
Awakens.
me. Yeah, at a basketball game when I
Really?
was cheerleading. You know when like somebody is like gonna take a free throw, and so like you have the student section like screaming things at them to try and get in their head. They all counted to 3 and said Han Solo dies, and I just go,
What?
and I wasn't even that invested in Star Wars, but I was
No
still
way.
mad because I'm like, that's how I was exposed. So yeah, spoiler alerts aren't it, guys.
That's terrible. My best friend's uncle once, I think it was once Revenge of the Sith was over, he walked out of that movie theater and I think yelled that Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader.
You just unlocked a core memory.
Everybody was pissed.
As they should, because it was when Force Awakens, my bad, in park mode was coming out. I probably have seen the Star Wars movies here or there, but I had no recollection. So I'm like, I'm going to watch them all. And so I even because I was like, I'm going to go to the midnight premiere of this. I'm going to be a Star Wars girl. And so I missed school and I watched all of the Star Wars. And I don't know what order I did, but this will give context. The next day, the episode that I was not on, I did not know who Darth Vader was yet. We decide in AP Chem, I think, or AP Bio, we're going to play Kahoot. And it's just a fun Kahoot game.
Yep.
We get through the science section. He's like, let's just do a fun one. Star Wars, because it's coming out. And I'm like, this is great. And we have about 60 seconds left of class. And the question is, who is Darth Vader? And I was about to cry. And everybody just shouts, Anakin! And I, in that moment, was like, I can't be mad that they spoiled something that has been news for so long, but it's like I can never
30 years.
watch a movie without knowing what happened. So Endgame, another example, I already knew Iron Man risked his life.
Right.
I just need a movie where I can be on the side of like, I know the spoils. Like, I know the spoilers.
I was going to ask you that. So you saw Endgame, so Infinity Wars and Endgame before you really got into the Marvel universe, right?
Like, I would say it would probably be my second Marvel movie.
That's like kind of depressing.
Absolutely.
Because like, I'm not kidding you. The buildup of all those movies leading up to Infinity Wars and Endgame is one of the best things in cinema that's ever happened.
I would watch it over and over again.
It's like every single movie you were just hanging on
by a thread
to the last credits to see the next
end
scene,
credit,
to see how it all tied into each other. And it was like that 10-year span of movies was something we probably won't even see ever again.
And I totally recognize watching it where it was like, I had 10 years of cinema, at least 10 years of cinema, wrapped all in a pretty bow and delivered to me. I just was like, next one, next one, next one. So imagine the pain I felt. Here's the thing. 10 years, people grow attached to these characters, but you also like, you see Iron Man and then a year later is the next one. So you're just slowly getting into it. I was watching a Marvel movie every single week. I was like on it and on it. And so all of these characters I was so attached to, like they were my family because that's all I was doing during COVID. And so when I watched Endgame, it was so much more devastating because I was like, I love you and I only had 6 months with you. But now being somebody who watches Marvel movies, I'm like, where's the next one? And so now I'm living proof of being a Marvel fan because I understand what they went through, where for 10 years it was like, it's not going to come out for 3 years, and that's just normal.
Yes, I know. The wait between every single one was
and so I could not imagine like where Infinity War ends and you have to wait, was it a year or 2 years?
I think it was really quick, like
a year, but you have to live for a year thinking the world is doomed.
Yep, you got to live with that for
absolutely
a year.
Not. And so that was the thing, is I was like, you guys are way too attached to these characters. Second time I watched Endgame, I take it back. I understand my mistakes, and so I'm eager for movies to come out where I'm like following along. And I think with the new Marvel movies, I started to feel like I was on that track. But we'll see where it kind of goes. But
that's Infinity War was incredible because it ended like no other like superhero movie ended.
They lost,
and you're like, just the devastation on everybody in the movie theater of just like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
Right.
And nobody is crunching popcorn and nobody is rustling, and it's dead
silence,
quiet.
You leave the movie theater feeling depressed.
Like that was fantastic.
Like that was peak cinema for me.
So good. It was the only other time I swear that happened was when we watched Interstellar, and it was just dead quiet. And
I love that.
I love Interstellar, but Endgame, nobody moved a muscle, and it was awesome. It was like, this is so cool, so amazing. I wish the phases were as good as the first
I know.
ones.
I'm hopeful. We kind of were talking about it earlier before we were recording about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was a good path, and we just kind of need to stay on it.
Yep.
I think they pushed the limits of Disney doing Deadpool, and I really appreciated it. I think it was great. I also absolutely love Wolverine. So I'm hoping that the next movies, I'm a little nervous
Mm-hmm.
because I know they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
to play Doctor Doom. Is that?
Mhm.
Yep. So I
Yep.
don't know how that's going to work. Obviously, I love him, but I think they did such a great job with how they sent off. It's kind of like Toy Story. We're bringing it back to Toy Story. Andy went to college, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to do anything more.
Right.
Why is Woody now gone? I'm getting Disney adult right now, but like sometimes, and now they're making another one.
I know, Toy Story 5.
Toy Story 5.
Yeah.
So
Toys versus iPads.
Toys, honestly, iconic.
I'm so ready for it. 'Cause
Like,
I
that's fun.
hate iPads. So
Yeah,
I
an
hope-
iPad kid versus Toy
I'm gonna
Story
love
kid.
it.
Elite. Yeah, so the movies will be interesting. They also released Coco 2 is coming.
I did, yes.
2029.
Yes. Holy moly.
That's what I mean. 2029.
I didn't think we were hurting for news, but
That's
2029.
They really said we'll just I don't know why they shared it.
So, yeah,
Right now it's just a thought, I guess.
There's quite a bit of things coming out. So, Moana 2 just dropped on Disney Plus, and
Have you seen it?
I still haven't seen that.
Okay.
So I'll get to that
Yep.
at some point.
Yep.
I got kids.
I think Moana 2, when I was surrounded, like my friend and I went, and we were surrounded with just children watching this movie, and we're like, should we be here right now? But yeah, that
Well,
one
it
is
was
just at
like-
Disney Plus.
This is like me in end of high school age, literally about to go into college, and Toy Story 3 hits theaters.
Gotta see it.
And me and my mom are just bawling our eyes out because it's like, I love Toy Story. And it was
Wait, you were just about to go to
It
college.
literally,
you were Andy's
yes,
age.
Toy Story.
You were
so
Andy.
Toy
Aw.
Story lined up with my life like perfectly.
Dang.
It really hit home.
Oh, absolutely.
When
I
Toy
could not
Story 3
imagine.
hit. I mean, that was devastating. I
Dang.
mean, it was such a brutal. Talk about just sitting there like, I'm not crying.
I'm like, it's
There's
not
like
me.
kids who don't care what's going on,
They're
but
like, I don't
yeah,
get
I'm
it.
just like bawling my eyes out.
Dang.
Speaking of core memories, I was gonna say you really got attached to Marvel during COVID.
Yeah.
I feel like COVID is a time where we were doing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and now that has become so iconic. Whatever anyone was doing during the pandemic, during the shutdown, right? It's like I have those moments too where it's like
Mm-hmm.
you were doing something during that time, and
Mhm.
it just becomes one of those core memories
Yeah.
now. And I feel like that's so cool that you got to watch all of those movies
Right.
during that time, because
When else would you have time?
yeah,
to
when
just
else
sit
would you
down
have
and do
time
it?
to do that?
And I
So,
think like COVID, realistically, COVID was 5 years ago. Like
Mhm.
that's absurd, but it does feel like yesterday. And I think it's such a unique experience that we all lived through. But like you're saying, our normal routine was kind of uprooted, that we were able to try different things. I know people were like, we're painting, we're doing all this stuff. And Marvel was, I think, maybe that's why I'm so attached to it now, because it was truly something that was just a constant
yeah,
that got me through it all.
right.
Because even like the parks were closed, like it was just a weird time.
I know that was a weird time having the parts closed. I mean,
So weird.
That's the most money I've ever had in my whole life, because
God.
Disney was shut down, and I couldn't fantasize about
Mhm.
the next Disney vacation.
Yep.
So it was just like, what am I going to spend my money
Mhm.
on? Nothing.
Nothing.
At
Streaming
that point.
services, and
Yep.
that's it.
That was it.
Yep.
I mean, everything else was shut down. So it's like, I'm just going to,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
save my acorns for
Save my
as
acorns
soon
for-
as they reopen.
Gosh,
So
yeah, no, that was a crazy time. I'm trying to think of what other news there was. Are there any other movies? Lilo and
So
Stitch.
I was gonna say it's Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
The second trailer
Yeah.
dropped, I guess, at this
Uh-huh.
point, and looks good.
Mhm.
I
I
think-
love the actress
it-
playing Lilo.
I was surprised at how 1-to-1 it is with the original.
Yes.
Like I usually with the live action remakes, we stray away from the,
Kinda
we
retell
kind of
the
do our
story.
own thing, and it's okay. It's its own kind of story, or retelling is somewhat. But I was surprised. I was
Mhm.
like, wow, like you could play the animated
scene for scene.
and the live one scene for scene, and it
Mhm.
matches up. So
Yeah.
I think I was most shocked by that.
Mhm.
So But that it's just again another classic movie.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I don't know what the Stitch hype is all about. Like it seems like Stitch is on every single merchandise. Like he's
Stitch
like
is
one.
everywhere.
He's one of the. I don't hate it, but it's like it's not something that I gravitate to a whole lot. But I love that movie.
Here's the thing. Disney World had a Stitch. It wasn't a ride. It was basically you walk in, and I went probably when I was 12 years old, so I'm trying to remember it. You would walk in and you would kind of sit in a circle, and it would be like Stitches, like you would go to space or something.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
like a
I
little
think I saw it,
entertainment like attraction sort of thing. And they closed it because Stitch was not popular.
Right.
And my brother has been obsessed with Stitch, and you could never find him. It's kind of like Lotso from Toy Story.
Mhm.
Now he's everywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know what shifted, but people are obsessed with Stitch.
Yeah,
And like I like him, but like he's like as popular as like freaking Olaf when
Yeah,
Frozen
I was gonna
came
say
out.
he's like a princess at this
Yeah.
point. Like,
I mean, Princess Stitch, we love it.
There are merchandise walls full of Stitch, and also like pins too. Like
Yes.
so many Stitch stuff, and
But
you know,
it
it's
happened
fine.
before I think Lilo and Stitch even was announced it was live action. Like I
Yes.
don't know
It's
what
been happening
shifted. It's
for
been happening.
long time.
So
Well, and I know this because my niece is obsessed with Stitch.
Yeah.
So she loves Stitch, which again,
which is different
he's
because
cute,
I feel
he's
like you
fine.
wouldn't. I remember them having the series where it was him and all of his cousins. Like at the TV show, would be him, and like you would go discover a new cousin. But then it ended, and so I don't know where they're getting hyped with Stitch because I feel like it's a lot of younger people.
True. It's
Like
like there
younger
hasn't been
kids.
something that has come
No.
out recently,
But
but he's very popular.
he's a popular dude. So
Well, I'm excited for that. That one's
yeah, it looks good.
but that is in June,
I think it's like late May. Yeah,
late
right.
May, somewhere in there.
So it'll come fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I think that's pretty much all of the movies.
Snow White just came out.
Snow White just came out. Here's the thing.
Well, I'll give it a shot.
I want to give it a shot, and that was my goal. I was gonna see it yesterday because it was on
we'll
my
watch
note.
it.
I want to see it with just an open mind.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I do enjoy the live actions. Am I slightly wanting Disney to reinvent the wheel a little bit? Yes, but I do enjoy them, like Alice in Wonderland, the Maleficent movie. I love those.
Mhm.
And so I was hoping it would be good, and I am hoping. I do like Rachel Zegler. I think her voice is great. There's just been a lot around it, so I want to just review it for a movie
Right.
and see what it is.
Today, go see it.
Go see it.
I will probably wait till that hits Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But
I'll
that's
go-
not because that's not for any like
Yeah.
spite reasons. It's simply because I have young children
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of a nightmare to take
Oh, yeah.
littles to the movie theater.
For sure.
So I will wait till it hits Disney
Yeah.
Plus. And it's it's one of those things where it's like I kind of grade movies a little bit better when I can just watch them on a
Yes.
streaming service. If I can, hit pause and go to the bathroom, or
snack.
my daughter's like make me a smoothie or make me
Mhm.
popcorn like every 5 minutes, and I got to get up, and
Backtrack.
it's
Yeah.
so much like I grade a movie so much better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little less harsh to it. When I go pay for a movie, I'm expecting greatness.
I want
you
my
know?
money to be worth it.
I want it to be how you felt walking out of Wall-E.
Exactly. Where I was like, I
No.
want my, and at the time, I think it was $7 for a ticket. And I was like, give me my money
Yep.
back. Like, I could have done anything. Yeah.
I want to feel
I-
like wowed. Like
I did
that
look
was a
at the
movie.
theater and all the seats were available. So I also fear just showing up like, hey, ticket for Snow White. But also, I want to give it
Right.
a shot. So maybe next week on the podcast, I'll come back and let you know how it was. Because I do love the movies.
Yeah, I would love to hear that review.
Yeah, so-
I'm ready for that. Next week,
Next week,
That
come
would
back.
be
That'll be my
incredible.
homework to do that.
we'll see what it's like,
See what
and
it's like. Yeah.
we'll give it a shot.
Mhm.
We like to give everything its shot.
Yeah, for sure.
So
There was one thing that kind of talking about reinventing the wheel, the new rides that are coming. We have Cars, which is coming to Disney
Yes.
World. We have the Monsters Inc. ride, which I just saw more like mock-ups for. That looks fun. Avengers Campus, which does take me back because I feel like it may be clocked. It was what was it? Galaxy's Edge versus Avengers Campus.
Avengers Campus, yes.
If we're going, the thing is, I feel like I've said I'm a Marvel girl.
You are.
I'm thinking like I'm investing in Avengers Campus. I know what it can become.
Yep.
Right now, do I think it's better than Galaxy's Edge? I would say I don't think so, because I don't think it offers a lot of the immersive type of experience. I feel like I'm a little taken out of it. But I think with what they're going to be doing with the new Avengers ride, I think that's going to be elite. So I'm trying to put in my stocks now so I can manifest Avengers Campus being good. And then, true. Yeah. And then apparently, is it at Disneyland? I didn't write it down. Walt Disney, A Magical Life. You know where Mr. Lincoln was going to be? It's going to be kind of one of those shows where now Walt is going to be.
Yeah, the Walt show. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I think that is actually, I forgot to mention that I think it's still closed down. But that is one of the attractions for the 70th anniversary. That'll be unique. Walt, you'll get to see Walt, and it'll be in rotation with the Hall of Presidents. So kind of both. So, sweet. But we're going in early May, so like I'll miss it. So I'm like I'm kind of bummed. I think it's later. I think it's more towards the summer, maybe June 17th, maybe like on their actual anniversary. I think is when it's actually going to release. But I'm with you about Avengers Campus. I think that with the new rides coming, the King Thanos ride, and then the
it's like the ride
Tony Stark's Flight Lab.
Ooh, wait, yes, that's the one I'm thinking of. It's like
So they're both like Universal rides.
Yes, like the Harry Potter one.
The Harry Potter ride and also a Transformers ride as well. So the King Thanos ride will be like the Transformers ride, which a lot of people don't like the screens and this and that. I will say that when I rode that Avengers ride back in 2012, I think it was. So, I mean, I'm like 20 years old at that point, 19 years old. I was blown away. And I'd been going to Disney for a long time, and I knew what like theme park attraction rides were. That ride blew me away. And it's a combination of like the screens and practical effects and, 3D kind of, there's like a heat moment where it's like you actually feel some
all the elements.
It was incredible. So, but I get it that we kind of want less screens to a degree because it's just like, every ride is a motion sickness
for sure
nightmare. But also Tony Stark's Labs is going to be like that, where it's like the Harry Potter ride, which I haven't done, but I know about it.
I did do it right after having my appendix removed, and then we got stuck upside down. Don't recommend it, but I had to do it for my friend. I do think screens though can be done tastefully. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, I love that ride. Yeah. And it does have screens. Yeah. I will say for some reason, I don't know if it's just me, I think the one in Florida is smoother. The one at Disneyland's a little jerky.
It the same size?
It's the same size. The ride is the exact same, but the Florida one, I'm going in April, so I'll have to test the theory.
Interesting.
It seems a little bit more all over the place.
I know the Disneyland one was herky-jerky because I was holding my 2-month-old, almost 3-month-old, and I was like, oh, we can go on this ride. That's awesome. Yep. Like, how cool is that? So I'm sitting here with like my 2-month-old, and she's asleep on me. And as soon as that ride kicks in, I like braced myself with both of my feet and pushed them against the ride vehicle because it's like
it's crazy.
So for me, I can't really take my take on it because don't listen to my take because I was holding a 2-month-old, right?
There's
so
the stakes.
It's so different, right? But every movement was crazy for me. But I love that ride, by the way.
It's a good one.
Rode it for the first time last year, and
it's so good.
I'm with you about the screens and how they can be tasteful. Yeah. Where you go into the section and they're all the way around you, and that part can be like, whoa, a lot's happening.
Yeah.
But when you back out of it and you see the scenery, I love the combination of the practical effects and the screens. And if they're farther enough away, I think it works really well.
I think so.
The ride that comes to mind is the Pirates of the Caribbean in Shanghai.
Oh, yeah.
That one, it just seems like I've heard that's one of like the best rides of all time.
There was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're doing Pandora at Disneyland now.
Yes.
I think they're going to be mimicking kind of that element for the Pandora Navi journey, the boat ride.
That'll be interesting.
So that'll be.
But I'm with you. I would be so excited. Now they've announced a couple of Avengers Campus rides coming, the 2 new attractions, which you already kind of could tell something was going to happen because
absolutely. That store is not meant to be a
okay,
store.
Okay, hold on now. This huge building right here seems like they're going to be doing something with it.
Absolutely.
And then they're building it, in that building and then behind it as well. And so they've already kind of started construction on that, which is really exciting. But I would be floored if they announce like an expansion to Galaxy's Edge or just like that would be so cool.
Right.
For them to do, and I wish someday they would add to Galaxy's Edge.
I feel like they should, because realistically, you only have 2 rides there. Like, I don't know, building off of having like entertainment, which I know would be tricky to do with kind of the vibe, but I feel like if there's space, a new ride would be pretty cool.
I would love it. I've seen concept art of them expanding kind of back towards Toontown, but the theory was, I know.
Away.
Now, I was going to say the theory was that they would take Toontown out and build upon, like expand upon Galaxy's Edge. With the new remodel in Toontown, and now that I have littles, I like Toontown a whole lot more than I used to. I didn't used to. Toontown for me, young adult, don't need to do it. Don't need to go there. And now I've got littles, and it's like,
it's a go-to.
It's so much better than it used to be.
Toontown is the spot. Like my friend and I, when we go, we love to take all the photos. And Toontown has the best photo spots if you want cute photos. Like now it's busy as heck, but they had the trolley that would go through. I did my senior photos there. They have the Chip and Dale coaster. Took my niece on that. Definitely was not tall enough, but thank you to the cast member who let us on. She was intrigued. But they have like the slide and the playground. I don't feel like it's going anywhere because I don't know where they would move the characters, and I just don't think they can do that. They got rid of Bugs Land, so I think people would throw a fit.
Yeah. That one's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
It is so much better now.
Yeah.
It's now
I
a
feel
place
like maybe you could cut it a little bit.
Yeah.
But not a lot.
We relaxed in one of the spots like way in the back, and it was nice. It was just we took a break, and you could tell a lot of other families were taking a break. It was just sort of a nice quiet place, but close enough by to where everybody else could go do something but then come back. So, but yeah, if they could expand upon Galaxy's Edge, I would love that.
Greatly.
That would be fantastic. In fact, when I worked there, the theory, the rumor was that Tomorrowland was going to be Galaxy's Edge.
Wasn't it because it was going to be right by Star Tours as well?
Yeah, so it would like exactly.
Blend.
So Star Tours was right there, and the whole thought was like, hey, we're just going to make this whole thing. And speaking of which, that leads me into my most controversial Disney take of all time.
I'm ready for it.
I think they could bulldoze Tomorrowland, and I don't think I would be sad one bit. Except for Space Mountain.
Okay.
I like Space Mountain. But I don't even really like Star Tours. Yeah. Even though I'm the biggest Star Wars nerd of all time, the last couple times we've been, I skip it. I'm kind of like, I'm okay.
I feel like that land is just, it is the worst flow of traffic.
It is.
It is the rides. Like, I'm sorry, Buzz is not worth 60 minutes. And Star Tours, I will say, as they add new ones, I'm more inclined. Yeah. I do think it needs to be more consistent. Space Mountain is so tucked back there. Pizza Planet, I used to like their food more in the past.
Yeah, I feel like they...
And now it's not as good.
I'm the same
also,
way.
they do now jip, because you used to be able to get the pasta and it would come with breadsticks and marinara sauce. Now you have to buy them separately, and there's like 2. And I'm like, this is absurd. Yeah. So I'm with you. I also don't know what the Star Wars landing, the landing.
Yes. It's a skip every time.
I've been there before, because again, I was trying to get in my Star Wars. I was really trying to be a Star Wars girl, and I think it can be ditched.
There's so much room.
There's a lot of space.
There's
that thing that goes above that I think used to be kind of like the old people mover.
Yes.
So there is space for something. I know it's touchy to remove anything from Disneyland.
I know.
But
that's the thing.
Here's how high. Has to be something.
You want to know how high up I would go? I would literally take out Finding Nemo.
Ooh, hot take.
I would
That's
take
a good
out
ride.
all of Finding Nemo all the way through Tomorrowland. And
Okay.
it was just the last time we were there, we didn't even walk through Tomorrowland until we were forced to walk through Tomorrowland.
Flow traffic.
And that's when I knew that there was just something that it used to be a place where like me and me would go run to Space Mountain.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't feel
don't
as
get me wrong,
futuristic
this
anymore.
is the weirdest part is like I love sci-fi. I love space. I just was talking about Interstellar, like one of my favorite movies. Star Wars, my favorite franchise. It has both of those things, space, Star Wars. And yet I'm over here saying
cut it.
Bulldoze it.
I will do it for you.
I love Buzz. I love beating everybody. At
I
Buzz.
do think
it's the
ride
best.
is one of the worst.
It's fun. But you're right.
Because I do not, the mechanisms, they need to either update it or because Tomorrowland, we should be in the future. This should be good technology, and it is.
This is not.
It is subpar.
Yeah.
And
I have better technology on a food thermometer temperature downstairs that my daughter uses to play laser light with my dog, and he chases it around. And it's a better laser than the ones that are on those ones.
hot take: would you get rid of Autopia or Autotopia?
See, that's all. Okay, that's also the other thing. I love cars.
Yeah.
I love cars. I love automobiles. I'm a petrol head. I love it. But I would bulldoze it.
I think that they need to get new cars.
I think that
I'm shocked they haven't gone electric.
Exactly. That's what everybody thought they were going to do. One of my favorite things when I worked at Disneyland was there was a Tomorrowland cast member party. So after hours, all of the Tomorrowland guests or the Tomorrowland cast members became, guests, and we all went into the park.
Cool.
Well, I worked on Main Street at the Plaza Inn. So one of my best friends was working in Tomorrowland, and she's like, "Oh, come with me. Nobody will know." And I'm like, "Oh, sweet." Their party was so cool. This is what they did. They turned Autopia into like a haunted, like a Halloween, because this was during Halloween time. So they turned it into like a Universal Horror Nights where, characters are coming after you.
That is incredible.
And they turned Autopia into like this haunted ride. And that increased the factor just by a ton, like the enjoyment factor.
100%.
It was like, you're running away from, somebody, and it's so comical because they're so slow. So it's like these characters are
topping 4 miles per hour here.
These cast members are like walking towards you all super slow, and we're we're just hyping it up. And so that was like the only time where I love. I mean, as a kid, of course, you love Autopia because before you get a driver's license, it's like, oh, I'm
driving a car.
I'm gonna drive a car, and then they give you your license. Okay, I get it. Like I like that is kind of
That's probably the only reason you would go on.
That's a coming of age moment.
That is a coming of age because I remember
like
vividly doing that. Matterhorn.
Oh,
What's your thoughts? I think I love the Matterhorn itself.
Yeah.
The ride is the most bumpy. I'm shocked that somebody's not gotten fully injured on that because
that's why you had to get your appendix out.
That's how I had to get my appendix out, actually.
You went on the Matterhorn.
I went on the Matterhorn.
And then you went to the hospital.
We went to the
hospital.
hospital.
You went to Universal.
And then I went to Universal, and that is when I got stuck. Yeah, I don't know about the Matterhorn. They have at Disney World and Animal Kingdom, Kilimanjaro. No, what is it called?
Everest, right?
Everest, Mount Everest. Yeah, Expedition Everest. And I feel like it's kind of giving Matterhorn to a degree. If they could fit that ride in the Matterhorn, it would be so good. But then you go back to the basics of like, if Walt wanted it there, it's gonna stay.
Yeah.
But I'm like, where do you push the limit of like, can we keep the Matterhorn, but just like maybe make the track smoother? Because I think it would be a fun ride, the bobsleds, but
right.
I go in it and like it's not enjoyable to me because it's just all dark, and then now the Yeti's here for some reason, and it's just overwhelming. Whenever I go with people who've never been to Disney, they're like, the Matterhorn. I'm like, it's long.
How's your back feel today?
How's your back feel? Yeah, you got a massage plan?
It could adjust you
or not.
You.
Chiropractor.
I like the Matterhorn. I think that when they did the remodel, I thought that they were going to get rid of the spine crunching movements, but they're still there. So I'm a little bummed at that. And it is one of those ones where like I like it. I like seeing it. I like the waterfall. It's very tranquil walking around it. And I think it's iconic too. I think to say this, I think removing the Matterhorn would be more devastating to me than removing Space Mountain.
Yeah.
And I think the reason that is because Space Mountain is just dark. And I think I only like it when it's either Hyperspace Mountain or when it's the Ghost Galaxy, when they do it for Halloween. Then it gives it some story and there's some life. Yeah. And then it's almost like it gives it just this extra meaning. And I really like that. I like the storytelling about that. And so regular Space Mountain, just being in the dark, it's sort of woohoo, it's fun.
Yeah.
And I have done it with the lights on, which is an experience.
Really, I just got stuck once and I closed my eyes and then I don't know who was with me, but they're like, you should open it because you're never gonna you're not gonna want to Google this. And I was like, you're so true. It's quite scary.
So you have seen it with the lights on.
Yeah,
then.
But we were just stuck.
Okay.
And then they went back down. But Disney World's it's scary because if you like raise your arm, like you feel the rail. Like I'm not raising my hands on that ride.
Really?
Like Space Mountain's a little creepy. I just think that Disneyland needs better roller coasters because right now at Disneyland, the fastest ride would probably be Space Mountain, I would assume.
Probably.
And I mean, I love roller coasters. I did go, where was it? It was on the East Coast. We went to some place that had a bunch of roller coasters. I'm a scaredy cat, apparently. Apparently Disney Thrill is about my limit. And even with Universal, I was like, we're pushing the boundaries a little. So I'm excited for Avengers Campus to have those because I'm hoping it's kind of like the speed of Incredicoaster. Like that's what I want. But Space Mountain, it is just a dark ride. It's a good coaster, but it's just no plot to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where it gets me. It's like just kind of boring, you know, like sorry, but it kind of is. Yeah. It's like, but I love space and I love the build up. I think that's the launch. I think that's great. The tunnel, that's great. I think it's really cool. I just wish that there was like more in there to it. And they totally do and can because they put more projectors and screens in for Hyperspace Mountain. I mean, that is awesome. Like when they change it to Hyperspace Mountain, I'm in. Let's go. You know, that's thrilling. Like how cool would it be if, you know, hypothetically they did turn Tomorrowland into Galaxy's Edge and they just turned Space Mountain into a Star Wars roller coaster. But
because they've done dark coasters because you've not been to Disney World. We're going to make it happen, guys. Like it's going to happen. These days. But Tron after, you know, obviously it's a different setup. But when you're inside, it is dark. There, you know, are visuals and everything. It's not just pitch black like Space Mountain, but there's still ways to like implement these like graphics or screens to kind of tell a story. And also with Aerosmith in Hollywood Studios, it is, from what I remember, a pretty like all dark ride. There are again those like signs. It's kind of more similar to Hyperspace, I feel. I like that because I feel like I'm not just floating in and I get that's the point. Space Mountain, you're just going wherever, but I think Disney could definitely do something with that. They don't gotta rework it too much. The track is great, the ride is great, but smooth. Just the storyline.
You said you liked Nemo, and it's not that I dislike Nemo, it's just that it's one of those, do I really want to wait in this big line to then sit in like a, you know, this tight space with all these people? And I love Finding Nemo, right? And it is really cool to be like, oh, I'm under the water. I'm in a submarine.
I'm under the water.
And you know, the thing that I like about that ride is that it's so different from any of the other rides. So that's what I like. I like the uniqueness of that ride, that you're underwater and it is kind of exciting. But when you're really thinking about it, you're like, man, I'm gonna get stuffed in here. Some guy's gonna rip one, and we're all just gonna be living it, right? And so, but it's cool, it's exciting. You know, it's fun to go through the water, and
I will say
I like it. If it's a short way, okay, fine,
go on it, just like if there's something else to do.
But I do think that there's if you think about all of the
it's a big spot
that they have, it's like the size of Adventureland, New Orleans, and now like, well, what used to be Critter Country now, but now that's just the Bayou Country. So it's like that whole, it's huge.
It's huge. I will say Nemo got its rebrand and they did it all. They had new color, new everything. I think I am an empath, and I felt the hatred that this Finding Nemo ride was getting. And so my best friend and I went on it. She was maybe 7 months pregnant. Like, she was popping. She goes down the little, I don't even know what that's called, the little hole. She goes in. I'm shocked she made it through. And so she's 7 months pregnant. Her belly's to the wall, and she's like,
it fills up one of the portholes.
The whole porthole. And she's like, why are we on this? Why are we on this? I'm like, well, I'm going to live it up. We're already down here. She had the worst time. So whenever we pass it, she would be on your side of like, bulldoze it, like right now. Skip. But after Finding Dory, they added some little cute things to it. Like the characters come and meet you. I think it's unique. And I like it that it was more of an original ride. Obviously not as Finding Nemo, but like the submarines were more traditional.
Right.
So that's why I feel like they haven't got rid of it. It's such a touchy subject because you can't just like get rid of it. Disney World, there's a lot more like, bye, you're out.
Yeah.
But when Walt kind of had a vision, it's like, you're risking it from taking it away.
Yep. Yeah. I do feel like it's harder in Disneyland to just take out something.
And there's no space to just make more.
It's like when Splash Mountain turned to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Splash Mountain was my favorite. And Tiana, Princess and the Frog, is my favorite princess movie. Ooh. So I was excited for the smash up. And a lot of people, right, were just maybe not so excited for it, but I still haven't rode it. Will be coming up here. So
what?
In May will be my first time.
My God.
So I can't wait. I'm excited.
I will.
My sister has in Disney World.
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah.
It sounds very fun. So I'm excited.
Incredible.
That's exactly the kind of
Have
changes
you seen
that we
any
want.
video walk? Or you're gonna be?
Oh yeah, it's been all spoiled.
Okay, I will say
Disney
I like it.
Spoiled it. Disney
did on Instagram, did they?
Yes, like
that little where you're like small like a bug or a firefly.
They spoiled the whole thing, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I wanted to go into that ride completely blind, and now I've seen so much of it, and I'm like, usually they don't do this, and I can stay away from it. But I will say too that I play roller coaster with the kids, put them in like a laundry basket, and we'll do the Disneyland rides.
Yeah.
And it's just hard when you're scrolling through YouTube looking at the ride POVs, and Tiana's Bayou's right there, and the girls
like,
want, I gotta do. So the girls want it. So I have ridden it. I have been
from home.
From home. So
at home, I will.
Girls
say
love it.
That the ride is great. I do have some trauma with it because in Florida it was opening. And my best friend Brittany and I, she's like my Disney pal. We always go. We were going to Disney World and it was going to be opening and you could go and do it with virtual queue. And we're like, this is amazing. We're going to do it. So we were staying on property at Wilderness Lodge. We got a little virtual queue and we're like, this is great. Our queue is called. We go wait in line. The line is so long. They did not plan it very well. You were like 2 hours in line. We're starting to make way. It's so hot because it's July in Florida. Thunderstorms start to happen. It
sweaty.
Now is torrential downpour then, and it's pouring rain. And we're like, we're staying in line. Everybody leave. They said, sorry guys, you have to like evacuate. So we left. We had dining reservations later, so we couldn't go. So the next day we're like, screw it, we're buying Lightning Lane. It's happening. The same thing happened to us. So we got on and it was great. But then at Disneyland when we were going, it was just a Magic Key preview. And so we wake up. It is 6:59. Our alarm goes off. 7 a.m. Going so fast, refreshing. It was giving Rise of the Resistance when you're like screaming to get a boarding pass. We get one and it's group like 30 or no, maybe it was like 8. It was one of those. And we're like, okay, this is incredible. We're going to wake up, get out right out of bed, run to the park. And we had no other reason to be there that early. We're like, we want to be the first ones done. It was the day we were leaving. We get up, we get ready. It is so early. We stayed till midnight. We're exhausted. We go. And we're just starting a line outside Tiana's, and finally, and a cast member, he's painting the gate. Like he has a can of paint.
He's just like,
and he's just painting. I'm like, the ride's open. Like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, oh, did you guys get a thing? And we're like, yeah, like, when are you gonna let us in? And he's like, oh, we don't start calling people till 4 p.m. And so we were there. We ran from our hotel. We were not staying on property. And we're like, Tiana, girl, you're doing us dirty. And then we finally got back and they called us, but we had a flight to catch. It was terrifying because it kept breaking down, then it would come back up. So whenever we go on Tiana's, we always joke that she does not want us in her bayou because
That guy was like, the paint has to dry.
It was literally the paint has to dry.
You have to come back when this paint is dry.
Like you can watch the paint
like,
dry.
Yeah,
that's
is
what
when
it
you
was.
will come back.
And so that ride, I mean, glad we got to go on it, but something all the time.
Wow.
So I hope your experience. I hope Tiana wants you in her bayou.
I hope so, because she is my favorite. So
it's solid.
I hope it's a good experience.
Yeah, it's.
I think it's so iconic. I love that ride. I think the reason why I love that ride is because it's just the unpredictability of it. It's one of those rides where it's like back to the Space Mountain conversation. It's a predictable ride, you know, and it's like, it's fun. Sure. It's thrilling, but it's predictable. When you go on Splash, you're like, am I going to get a drop of water or am I going to be walking out of here and going to the gift shop to buy like all new clothes because you just don't know. Of course, it's like never sit in the front, but you know, and always lift your feet up onto the rails. Yeah. But it's just, I love that because the water ride and it's thrilling. And the drop for me is the most thrilling part about Disneyland.
Yes.
It's none of, like you were saying, how Disneyland doesn't really have a ton of thrill rides.
No.
The only thing that comes close to it is if you're sitting like 12th row, Big Thunder. Big Thunder can be pretty darn thrilling, which if you're in the very back, it's way better than if you're in the front. You get pulled around every corner and every you know, up and down. It's way better. But the drop in Splash is just,
it's elite. It's
the most thrilling part about Disneyland. And I think as a kid, we rode it like, me and my dad rode it 6 times in a row because it was just right after the fireworks. And he and I went over there. It's back when they still had the fast pass tickets. And, you know, mom and brother go back to the hotel, you know, get some sleep. Me and my dad stay in the park and they give us their fast pass tickets. So
loved that.
Yeah. So cool. So we give them our fast passes. We get on it. We get off. We give them their other fast passes.
Gosh.
And then by that time, the park was empty. So we were on these logs. There's nobody in line. And the cast member was like, you want to go again? We're like, absolutely. So we just went over and over and over. And I'm pretty sure we went 6 times in a row.
Dang.
It's one of my favorite Disney memories of all time because you're soaking wet, but who cares? Because it's the summertime. It's warm down in California.
No wait.
And it's just, I'm telling you, that drop is the reason why I love that ride the most.
You unlocked a memory of when fast passes were, you know, rest in peace, a piece of paper. My brothers and we always just wanted to we were elite at Disneyland, okay? So we would take my mom and dad's passes because they would also have them on the phone. So we would run up fast and we would sneak in. And so we would have their physical passes. They might not actually be in the park yet, you know? And so we would run and we'd go to the machine and it would always say like, oh, this person isn't in the park. And we're like, oh, that's so weird. My mom, she's at Jolly Holiday right now. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. That's strange. Let me help you out. Con artist over here. But we're like, no, they're not fast enough. And so now, obviously, with Lightning Lane and Genie Plus, or not Genie Plus, whatever it's called now, you can't do that. But that does unlock some memories.
They got location services.
They're ready. They're like, the girl in the red, send her away. But yeah, it's quite enjoyable. All the memories of it.
I miss the old fast pass.
Yeah,
it was just cool to have like a physical ticket, and it was almost a souvenir too, right? Because even when I worked there, I saved all of my. Well, they didn't actually have the fast passes when I worked there, but I saved all of the tickets that you get at the gate, and so. And then, you know, years before that, you know, you save up all your fast passes, kind of like a little collectible, you know, I got my Big Thunder one and, you know, it's fun. I remember when they switched over to the the electronic fast pass system for the first iteration, whatever
Max
the heck.
Pass?
Max Pass.
I will say I was a stan for Max Pass.
I liked Max Pass.
I don't know why we couldn't do Max Pass and build on it. If you guys don't know, it was $10 a day.
Yeah.
Fast Pass was still available if you did not want to
Yes.
do it, but Max Pass was exactly the Fast Pass system, but on
Just
your phone.
Digital.
It was so nice because you would lose those things. You would forget it, and it would
Yeah.
show you, and you could change your mind. And for annual pass holders, like, hey, for $100 a year, you can get it. So it made total sense. And I mean, you had to pay $10 a day per person, so like it was already an incentive. That is one thing I wish they kind of would have stuck with.
It was elite when Kate and I went. I mean, I remember that trip because it was the first time where you get into the park and you pick, I'm going to pick this ride.
Yep.
And then, okay, cool. Your return time is like in 20 minutes or something or so. Okay, cool. Then you go ride that ride. By the time you get through the queue and you get off the ride, book your next one. And then
It eliminates the running back and forth.
You'd book the one right over there, and then okay, now we go on that one, and then by the time you're done with that one, you book the next one. And I remember the trip that we did that, the Max Pass. It had to be the most efficient trip of all time because we went from one ride to the next, and it was so perfectly timed. It had to be the most like well-oiled Disney trip we've ever done. So
because now I feel like we've done Lightning Lane before, it's difficult because there's just a science to it. You have to really plan your rides correctly, and I feel like it is a little bit stressful. Max Pass, it was really just like whatever the fast pass is, that's the fast pass you're getting. A hack though is that we always would get Indiana Jones as a fast pass if we were leaving, because if it breaks down, you get a pass to anywhere. So before our breaks, we'd always get a fast pass to Indiana Jones. And so then while we're taking a nap, we would wake up and we're like, Indiana Jones closed, because then you can use your fast pass for anywhere.
Oh,
it's
smart.
like always smart because I'm like, if you're going on break, get a fast pass, because if it breaks down, like worst case scenario, you have to go on Indiana Jones. I mean, most of the time when we want to go on it, it does break down, but we're the people screaming like, it's closed. And that is always our hack. And it's never steered us wrong.
That's a great hack.
So yeah.
Write that down.
Try and don't manifest it closes, but like.
But that's if you're going to go,
just saying,
like you said, if you're going to take a break.
Because it's usually later. It's usually like, okay, if it's 1:00, Indiana Jones is for 4:30. By the time you come back, you'll either go on Indiana Jones or you have a pass, and it's a pretty tier A ride. Like you can go on basically anything. So that's always my hack, especially if you don't like Indiana Jones, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but it's my little piece of advice.
That's good.
Yeah.
For more hacks, email parkhyperspodcast@gmail.com.
We got you. I feel like this has been a solid
first
episode.
It's been good.
To like dive into everything. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
There's going to be more crazy stories and
lots to come,
and I feel like this is just a little snippet of everything. If you guys have any news you want us to talk about, or if you have any specific questions, like if you're going to the parks or have anything you really want to know, let us know and we'll happily kind of touch on that.
What we really want to hear are magical moments.
Yes,
so
we need to end up with our magical moments.
We kind of told a couple of our magical moments from our childhood days. We really want to make the show about magical moments.
Absolutely.
And again, Park Hypers with an S podcast.
They'll be on the
at
screen.
gmail.com.
Yep.
Email us. We want to hear your magical moments. We want to share those. We love Disneyland.
Yep.
We are Disneyland, Disney World. We are all about parks.
Yeah.
Worldwide. And that's, people make the parks the special places.
Absolutely.
Right? And so
even in the beginning saying like, can I pick people watching instead of the attractions? It's like something so elite about it. So please share them with us, because we want to find the community that has those special moments, makes those special moments, being a cast member, being a guest, whatever it may be. Whoop.
We love the people that are inside of Disneyland. They make it a better place.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why we are Park Hypers podcast, because all of you listening are Park Hypers. So we're the ones that keep the energy going in the park, and we hype it up to its fullest, and it makes makes everybody's day so much better. You're waiting in line and you strike up a conversation with the
Absolutely.
people behind you. They've never been, and you don't want to spoil anything, right? So that's very nice of you, right? You're the one that's pointing out the birthday buttons and saying
Yeah.
happy birthday to everybody. It's just it's those little things that make Disneyland
Oh yeah.
one of the most unique places on earth.
Absolutely.
And so we wanted to create this podcast and honor those folks that make that place a little bit more special and magical. So please email us
Yes.
your magical moments at parkhyperspodcast@gmail.com.
And then
And-
we'll be able to share them.
Yep. And then we will share one every week.
Yep.
We want to share one per episode. And then we also want to do something special for the magical moment and send out a little something.
Yes. So if you are comfortable, if you do go to our email, just have a mailing address. We want to send out something. So it'll be a little collectible. So if we share yours, and if yours is not shared that week, you can send a new one if you want. I think we're just going to go through and start sharing them out kind of randomly and see what sticks. But I think this podcast is going to be great, especially we aren't locals to the parks at all.
Mhm.
And so it's kind
Yeah.
of a way for us to bring that sense of Disney to our homes. And so we're hoping that this is just a community that wants that same thing.
Absolutely.
And to talk about movies, to talk about the parks, to talk about anything Disney. We're kind of your go-to, and we're looking forward to it all.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Okay. We will see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
See you later.